headset disconnect. I didn't have a headset on. Yeah. Why are you saying that? It's scaring me. I don't know what it's doing.
Playing games with you.
Clearly. We're not even PlayStation crowdfunding.
I don't think we are. I'm just always offline. But it's Molly Amberby. Like,
Yeah. Like Chun-Li is a picture, right?
yes.
Yeah, it says we're not friends. We're mutual friends. I know!
Okay.
We'll fix it after. It's fine. I'm gonna stream and then what is Cynthia's name again? I think we're friends.
Is it Empress something?
Yeah. Empress Cynthia?
No, it's something different. I think it's just Cynthia, like there are 2 letters or something.
Oh. Alright. Dream, do you have it?
Yeah.
I think I have her on my For some reason online and not offline. Let me go back to the top. Everyone always. Yes, it's online. That's crazy. Who appears online these days?
I'm kidding.
Who else did I forget? Oh, my desktop audio is fine. Everyone's hearing us talk. And my mic audio. Hello, and welcome to our 3rd week of the Kahnum Hour. I'm Emmy BB, and I'm with, of course, Dream. Say hi, Dream. Dream.
My goodness, my mic sucks.
Okay. There's Dream, obviously the owner of this channel, and then we also have Molly, our other co-host.
Hi, everybody.
This week, our special guest for the week is none other than Saki Sakura. Hi, Saki. What's good?
Hi. What's up, everyone?
The Mew Queen, the Jade Goddess, the Queen of the Hill, all of the above. We got her here. So yeah, I think we're gonna just. You want to on AFK? You want to play the first game, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't mind. I will admit, I'm a little bit nervous because like when I'm usually do these, I don't pay attention to how I play, and it's just hard for me to like
No,
actually like.
you know
go
what?
back and
That's
forth.
kind of part of the fun because it's really
Oh, no.
hard to talk and
totally
play
understand.
at the same time. Like that is.
Yes.
Not, it's not
I had
easy.
so much trouble doing that too. And like we originally when we came up with this idea, we were going to make it a forever king so that the person that was the special guest could really like highlight their play and then bring in like practice whatever they wanted to practice. But then we were like, wait a minute, but that would be terrible for them because they have to be talking at the same time and so yeah.
I'm used to talking so much while I stream, but it's like these things I know that we're talking about like so many conversations, and it's like my brain cannot split itself like that.
Yeah.
It's super hard. So why don't we start? Why don't we try right now? Tell me a little about like just like a base overview, and then we'll get into more details. What do you got going on right now? What's your
Oh my goodness.
what-
So definitely right now we are actually currently working with Queen of the Hill Soul Calibur series. We came off from the Street Fighter 5, and one of the things that we were like really looking forward to is the fact that Dynamic Focus is like the Soul Calibur team in addition to being like an NRS team.
Oh, okay.
And we had been like asking to do Soul Calibur because the girls on Soul Calibur are like super good. And we said, you know what? It's honestly time to like actually showcase them. So right now we're actually just finished our last chance qualifier on last Saturday,
Mhm.
and yeah, and right now we're actually going to be doing the finale this Sunday.
Awesome. I mean, I've been like kind of paying attention to that, and like you guys have been killing it with this. I mean, all the Queen of the Hills series so far, I think, but like it just seems to be progressively getting like bigger and better. Like you're giving out like Urban Decay makeup sets to like
Oh my gosh! So first things first, it is a literal dream to actually be able to have like someone interested into my series and actually be able to like give out a prize to our finalists. Especially a huge company like Urban Decay.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing, honestly, is that the FGC hasn't gotten a chance to get such a big sponsorship like that before, and to be able to actually kind of like open that bridge, especially in like for women and at the FGC is huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like having that was like probably the most coolest thing ever so far in my streaming career. But yeah.
You don't have to go
That's
into like.
incredibly exciting. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, to begin with, it's just exciting for women, but also it's a big monumental step for the FGC, and to have women being the one bringing it in is even it's really
Yeah.
awesome.
One of the things that so first things first, when we got Urban Decay, it was honestly like a good, I want to say like we were in the room type of deal, right? As you guys know, I'm partnered with Dynamic Focus, so they have me as a player and a content creator.
Yeah.
And the manager Aziza, shout outs to Aziza.
Shout out.
She actually was in the room, and she was invited to actually go and be in a meeting with Urban Decay because they're looking to expand the online market, especially considering the fact that the pandemic has kind of like put everything onto like online spaces. And so they were really interested in like telling people who wanted to kind of be like influencers, hey, this, if we want to work with you, this is what you need to do. And so we what we did was we took the Queen of the Hill like media kit and we sent it, and the biggest thing was that our impact had such a big impact to Urban Decay that they were like, you know what, this sounds amazing. Here, this is for your finalists.
That's exactly what like I was gonna ask. Like, how did that even come into play? Like, how do you even go about being like, hey, like, Megacorp Urban Decay that's in every Sephora store across the country? Can you like how do you like? That's crazy that like even works out like that.
So the biggest thing is I mentioned something that a lot of content creators, especially like just starting out, definitely need to have if they're looking to partner up with companies. It's also something that I have for my own channel. So like I have I have a media kit for Koth, and I have a media kit for the Saki Sakura brand, right? And the reason why I have it is because it's like your player resume, but more in detail. So you kind of the biggest thing that I have learned is that investors are kind of like lazy. So it's hard for them to like actually go into like, for example, Sully Gnome or like Twitch statistics. They want to kind of like, okay, you have like 3 minutes to introduce yourself to me. Why should we be like interested in you, right?
So I'm just gonna go and like check out your channel and see how many views you have and watch like 6 hours of VODs to see if you're part of the
exactly.
Who's gonna do all that?
What the media kit does is it literally says, hey, this is me, here's 5 minutes, I hope you like it and I hope you're interested. And so with not just being in like the right time in the right place, but having that already done and completed is so important as a content creator, because that is literally how you're able to get these sponsors or deals or partnerships, and definitely something that I honestly learned thanks to like one of the girls, Pie Bear, and it's literally because of her and actually helping me get that organized that I was able to actually give that to them. And the biggest thing too is just realizing that what your impact is, and that's part of the thing, that's like part of the tool that can help you realize that impact.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just quickly, Emmy, Lisa's PSN is Lisa Radish. Autumn put it in the group chat.
Okay. Can you
the
invite
2 A's and then the
or Dreamy? Can you invite her? So
yeah.
I also the stream's got my video on. Oh my god, that caught you.
We have Lisa's playing with us tonight too, but she changed her PSN and didn't tell us before, so we're like, where is she?
But yeah, like Saki, back to what you're saying, like as somebody who comes from like or did a lot of music stuff and stuff, that's similar to what you do when you're sending your music out to like labels. You kind of just send like you make a general like, here's my music, this is my song, this is what we want you to hear, this is our stats for things, and you just send them all to a bunch of different labels and see what sticks. And I feel like that's a really smart idea for streamers and for content creators and people that are doing big events to kind of do similar ideas. That's super smart. And then look, you get like amazing partnerships like with Urban Decay again. So
yes, I want to say that like honestly, after I was able to create that, I was actually, so my biggest dream is to continue to work with like Square Enix. Square Enix is one of my favorite developers out there. And not only have I been able to actually like coordinate with other community managers, because like I have community managers from Square Enix, one that just left Adult Swim, but we stayed in contact because I play FGC games, and some other community managers as well. I've been able to take like actual first looks into games. I don't know if you guys have seen, but like sometimes I come out and I'm like, hey, I'm getting a first look at this game. And it's literally, it's honestly because I've been able to just be out there and actually show that, hey, I have this community and this community is amazing. They're awesome. Go ahead and check it. So I know with having that like media kit, I was able to actually get a code from Square Enix on some of their games and actually like have sponsored content with them, and it's really awesome. It's definitely also kind of like something that I want to see more of like our fellow competitors and community members do, because they are definitely well within the means. They just need to kind of like organize themselves and again create that portfolio so that more people outside of the FGC are interested.
No, I was curious because you mentioned a couple different things that weren't MK, and you really started from where I know you, and I don't know if this is like totally accurate, but mostly as like an MK streamer, and you kind of ventured out to play a lot of different games these days. How do you feel like that's gone for you? Do you feel like that's a step? Do you want to do more variety stuff, or you're looking to kind of? Are you just sick of the game right now and you just want to do something else? Like, what's the?
So I actually, before I came into the MK community, I was actually more interested in doing like anime games and RPGs and kind of like being more of like an anime content creator, right? And that could have fell between like, anime fighting games or like anime just RPG games. And so when I got MK, I switched for a very long time because I'm very dedicated to competing. And one of the things that I was really trying to do with MK is, and I still am, is becoming like one of those top competitors. And which is why I spent so much time in streaming and actually like streaming MK. And I haven't given up that dream, but I will say that unfortunately customs kind of did not make me happy.
Okay.
And I was a little bit disappointed, and I've been kind of having a little bit of trouble kind of adjusting to customs play in MK. So what I've done mostly is I still stream MK, but I'm more focused on either commentating or actually doing more of the anime streams again and going back to kind of like my roots, which is why you see me like sometimes streaming like Danganronpa. Right now I'm working on Nier. I was doing Sakura Wars before, things like that. So I've been really enjoying it. It's sort of a bad and a good thing because the bad thing is there's a lot of people who they're not used to that, so they're not going to be more inclined to visit you unless you're playing MK, which happens. It's not their fault, nor is it your fault. It's just that's not the audience you're trying to get.
Yeah. And I think that's like kind of to be expected when you build your audience around like a single kind of community, and then you switch off of that community. Like I have the same experience when I try to play like Resident Evil or something. I'm like, wait, no one's here anymore. Like, like. So it's like, yeah, for real. I think that's.
It's not like the worst thing in the world, like I said. It's just definitely like I take it as an opportunity. Like, okay, they're not interested, but I'm gonna introduce myself to either a different community, or I'm going to introduce my community to the different games. And even though it kind of like hurts the like consistency with when it comes to like numbers, just like I mentioned before, my impact is bigger than my numbers. Yeah. So when I do a lot of that stuff, there may not be, the 50 people I get in MK, but I'm actually like streaming to more people. I'm opening myself to more avenues, especially when newer games are coming out, and other bigger opportunities. So yeah.
Yeah, and
I am so glad that Cynthia beat me. I was like, so excited. And
like, now I can take a break and just talk and not worry about doing both at the same time.
I just need someone to beat her, so I don't have to play a Cetrion player, please.
Oh, Emmy. No, but it is something, and you'll see even if you switch to a different fighting game, a lot of the time you'll see that the audience that you had for MK won't necessarily want to watch. You see it even with like really big MK streamers, like VGY playing Street Fighter goes from like 200 viewers to like 35 viewers. So I don't know if you feel like that's something particular to the MK community, or if it's just Twitch in general.
It's honestly just like a factor of a lot of things, because like I feel like and it happens to, like, for example, Sonic Fox too. Sometimes they'll be on MK and like they'll get their 2,000 viewers, right? But then when they switch to like Skullgirls, they're getting half of that. And it's just it's just depending on the community and how much they're building. Like if VGY hasn't built enough, you know, being loud in like the Street Fighter community, a lot of people are not going to really know that him. And so then when it comes down to it, the people who are there are probably the only people that are like really consistent with like him, like that's his community. So it really just comes down to like, you know, how much investment are you putting into the other communities? And this actually kind of goes back to Queen of the Hill. I know someone asked me when was Grand Blue, and one of the things that I am trying to do with Queen of the Hill is I have already 3 games that I've invested Queen of the Hill in, and that's been MK, Street Fighter, and now Soul Calibur. Right, but if you notice, the time and the investment that I'm doing isn't just announcing that I'm doing a tournament. It's literally getting to know the very players. I like to think that Queen of the Hill, since obviously we all came from like the Babality, I'm trying to kind of
shout outs to Lumia, like, by the way. Like she's amazing. Just she brought us all together and kept us all here. Like it's incredible. But go on, sorry. Yeah. I just wanted to like give her credit on that, you know, because.
Uh-oh.
What
Cynthia
happened?
got kicked out? No.
Can you re-invite her? Or if Dreamy?
Yeah.
Or Dreamy's playing.
Yeah, or maybe, Dream is playing, so I'll try to re-invite her.
But yeah, sorry. Shoot outs to her, though. Like, she really, like, created something and then just said, like, okay, I did my thing. I'm gonna go hang out, like, now. Like, but, like, she did something, like, I don't know. I talked to her, like, a lot, and every once in a while, I'm like, thank you again. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Like I wouldn't be on Kunoichi, and I wouldn't have all these opportunities that I have, and all these amazing friends that I have if it wasn't like for you.
Too. Yes, Manu and Lumia, honestly, they've been like that, like driving force to a lot of the stuff that I do. I feel like when, you know, we kind of like all went our separate ways after Babality because of life reasons, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I've always wanted to do what I feel like they wanted when they started. And so when I did Queen of the Hill and I go to these different communities, I know that there's not a Babality in like Street Fighter and Soul Calibur, right? So my goal is to create sort of that same feeling, if not at least enough so that, you know, these ladies know that there's other ladies like them that are competing. And so with that, that's why when I say like invest in other communities, it's literally like trying to do the same thing you did in MK, but now you're doing it in another community, like Street Fighter.
Right.
And I think, I think if you see the impact that like Babality had on the MK community, like the level, the amount of, and the level of like competitive and like content creation women in the scene is like so much bigger in MK than almost any other community. Yes. I think, and I think that's almost exclusively down to like what Lumia and Manu and all them they did in Babality, and like they kind of set up the right place for these women to grow. And I want to like continue that. Like that's part of my goals, and I think you do too.
Absolutely. Like it's so important, and this is actually something that when I do other like podcasts and interviews, I get this question a lot, and it comes always down to the same thing. Representation like matters.
Yeah.
Like you know, before you kind of saw like the few like Lumia, Losty, Infinity in these offlines, right? But there wasn't really like a huge online space to actually be like, yo, that's awesome. I want to get to know that competitor. I want to be able to play with them and get games with them. But when, you know, MK11 started and we got access to like Babality, at least the majority of us MK11 content creators, we saw the good it did, on top of the fact that it was just so encouraging, and it's a huge support system too. And that's another thing too that I've learned in regards to not just representation, but when I've interviewed some of the finalists for Queen of the Hill, they literally say, I had a good support system to help me get through a lot of the BS and a lot of the anxieties when it comes to competing. And that's huge. That's so important.
In a community like the FGC, if that's not around, like this doesn't grow. None of this happens. Like women don't stick around because of like all the different issues that come with being a woman in the community. If there isn't like a big community of women to stick with them and to like help them grow and like get over this stuff that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you're doing a great thing to be part of that, and also expanding it to multiple games. Yeah, it's amazing.
Grand Blue Suit, just be better netcode. I've done 2.
Rip the netcode.
I've had a horrible netcode. I'm tired of the shitty netcode. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the bad netcode. I really, really am. I need the devs to get like on point and start bringing the netcode to like Guilty Gear and MK11 style type netcode because I'm tired. I'm so tired of it.
It is hard to
real.
play a fighting game with a bad
Honestly.
netcode in 2021 because you've seen the light, you know.
Yes.
Like a lot of the Japanese developers, they really gotta get on board with this. That's why I'm really glad to see for Guilty Gear coming
Yeah,
out that
totally.
they have. So maybe this will be the start of a trend. But
Yeah. Also, with Guilty Gear coming out, that is actually a game that I'm going to be streaming a lot more and actually competing a lot more. I actually, like, I'm not supposed to really say it, but I'm going to say it because it's not that bad. But, like,
okay.
I already got invited to play in a tournament in July for it. So I'm like,
Nice.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Can you give any more details? Can this be an exclusive scoop, or is this gotta be a secret?
So I will tell you that it's from, oh my god, what is it? What were they called? It was Combat Gaming. They're doing a Guilty Gear Strive tournament, but I can't tell any more details other than that.
Okay, but it's just a hint of things to come.
Ooh.
So everybody keep an eye out on Saki's stream and Twitter for more information in the future.
Yes. But yeah, honestly, it's between oh my god, Emmy, why are you a scorpion? I'm already
Because listen,
Man.
I started picking up Scorpion to help people in the really, sorry, it's really hard for me to talk and play, which is like why this show's a bad idea for me. Like a really common thing in the Kahnum Academy is people going, I'm having trouble with the Scorpion matchup, because they're all like,
Yeah.
a lot of the women in the community are like Adenian players and like Jade players and stuff, but Scorpion has like, you know, gonna give them a hard time a little bit.
Hey.
So I'm like, I can help with that. Why don't I do my crushing blow?
Yeah.
I'm still like a bad Scorpion player
This is
though.
the unfortunate truth, okay? Emmy originally said that she would do this a little bit because Vera asked for help, and then I needed help with Scorpion too on that program. But she has said since then, oh, but I'm having fun with him. So now she's actually
Yeah, no, it's
practicing him
kind of
and gonna
fun.
play him. So
He's kind of
terribly
fun.
depressing. She's actually gonna play Scorpion.
I believe that because Herbs has told me that he's a fun character. And I truly believe he's actually one of the most neutral based characters in this game. And quite honestly, yes, he's scary and yes, I hate him, but when you play a Scorpion, like, you're playing out of your mind, to be honest. So I can see why he's fun to use. Like I said, I've heard from Herbs. I actually learned that matchup with Herbs, so I'm not as scared, even though I still hate it. But I believe it. I totally believe
Sorry.
it.
I should not be playing. I had a line of questions I was like going down the path of, and now like I started playing and I forgot them all. Like, what were we even talking about before Scorpion?
Now I have to play Emmy.
Oh my god, Dream Takeover.
What?
Oh,
no.
What?
No, but we did one thing we wanted to talk to you about tonight, and because you are someone that has a lot of experience and one of the few people we know that has a ton of experience working kind of behind the scenes as a TO, not just on the Queen of the Hill series, but even in terms of just organizing in Mortal Kombat tournaments, helping like with Herbs and his Mortal Kombat events, and so we were curious if maybe you wanted to speak a little bit about the particular challenges of being a TO, and what
I'm
goes
sure
into
there's
it
a
that maybe
bunch,
a lot
yeah.
of streamers and players don't know or think about.
So definitely, a lot of my TO experience actually comes from running Dead by Daylight tournaments with this organization called Space Esports. They were actually the introduction to esports. And so I used to run Dead by Daylight tournaments. I used to run Overwatch tournaments. Definitely running Dead by Daylight tournaments though was a it was a great introduction to get me some tough skin because that community is a little intense.
I've
I would say
heard,
even
by the
more
way,
intense.
we're doing one in CGL, and I've just been hearing from the
Yeah.
organizers that they're having a hard time all the time.
Yes. The community is. It also comes too with the fact that like the game isn't really like tournament friendly.
Yeah,
So
they have to set up their own
unfortunately,
rules.
that kind of sucks about things. But when you come down to like the nitty
You're still
gritty,
doing it.
it definitely helped me build like that tough skin that comes with like the TO. And when I started my transition to the FGC, I learned how Smash GG works. And I also learned like some of the things that like can break it basically. So I definitely want to say that like sometimes Smash GG is one of those challenges, for sure. Another challenge that I encounter a lot is a lot of people don't really pay attention to the rules, or what exactly like they're signing up for. So a lot of the times when they start asking like, hey, what is this? What is it first to three? Like, you know, what am I supposed to do here? Where am I supposed to go? Even though it can be answered by a simple like, hey, just check out the rules when you get a chance. Sometimes it just helps to be like that live contact that they can actually reach out to. And even if you have a copy pasta, but I know I've encountered a lot of times where, you know, people aren't really in the rules. A famous one that I tend to encounter quite a lot is when there's a lot of issues with connection. I'm the type of person that if the connection's bad during a tournament, I will stop the match. I will like
Right.
pause it and I will be like, hey, this is like over 150. I can't play in this. And
all
you
the
know,
time.
depending on what the what the TO will say at the time and what the ping rules are, you know, I'm the type of person to address it right away. And when I run my tournaments and when I run like Herbs' tournaments and I even help out with like other people, I tell them like you need to have like that ping standard like ready to go. Because at the end of the day, someone can be like, yo, why didn't you DQ them? And you can be like, did you report it? Did you follow the rules? No, you didn't. So unfortunately that match is valid. And I tell people a lot that not only is it important to make sure that you have like your rules in the tournament, but you have to be like consistent with them. You can't just be like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, this is the rules, and then you change your mind like 20 seconds
You
later.
kind of have to be a
And
hard
vice
ass
versa.
sometimes, right?
And vice versa. You can't you that's literally like your, I want to say like your protection as a TO, because when that person, let's say, gets super mad or salty and they go onto a public space and they're like, yo, this tournament sucks because they did this, that's like your defense. Hey, these were the rules, you signed up for this, you didn't follow them. And a lot of the times with the people that I TO with, that's actually something that saved them and kind of like made the competitor kind of chill out a bit. So that's a big issue and a challenge that I've had, and it really just comes down to like making sure that you know what your rules are, what you can do as an admin. Obviously don't get power hungry, but also remember that, you know, a competitor is going to feel emotions while they're competing. You just need to make sure that you're the bigger person and like you're the adult in the situation, basically.
I think they're all adults, aren't they? Typically.
Yes.
No.
But I better said than a professional in the situation. Like,
No, I
you
know.
are the one whose reputation is at risk. Theirs is not, unfortunately. So yeah, but I love one of the things that I love doing, especially when I can and I have my spare time, is helping people with their tournaments.
Nice one.
Especially like I've had Hot Rod from Outworld Television reach out to me. I've had other big TOs reach out to me. I've helped Herbs with his tournaments as well. Herbs actually didn't know too much about tournaments. He had tournaments running until like 2 o'clock in the morning one time. And when I joined Island, I actually got to be able to actually help with that. So that's the cool thing.
Awesome. Yeah.
So just quickly, Emmy, before we continue,
Mhm.
Infinity would like to join us. If you could maybe send her an invite, since I'm playing and about to play a Cetrion and
Yeah.
die horribly.
I got Fetty Ma in here. Let's go, Fetty Ma.
Thank you, thank you.
I was like, back to something you said, like, why is she not showing up? Even though that's exactly where her name is on here. Okay, it's fine. Like when I just recently did the pro comp tournament, and like, listen, okay, me and what was his name again? Babu. Me and Babu became best friends because I was best friends, dude. I talked to him like 8 times because I was like, everybody was on Wi-Fi, and I'm not dealing with that. I don't have to. It's against the rules. So like, yeah, I mean, me and him, we're like buddies now. Like we know each other, okay? Because like,
Yes.
and he did a great job of just being like, oh hey, like, yeah, like show me the pick. Okay, good, that DQ'd, you're on. And like it was like super like easy, and like I know people complain about the pro comp, and there's reasons to, but I feel like if you just like actually like look at the rules and go on the Discord and like follow them, it's not so bad.
I know Guido, and I know I do know Babu. But I know because I also have the same issue.
You became friends with Babu too?
I know that like I really appreciate his work in like TOing. And it's crazy because I tell like when I compete in the pro comp and even in ESL, but mostly in pro comp, like that's one of the things that is really something I also work on too, is like I really try to open up as many connections as I can while I'm doing, you know, the work that I do. And I actually know that because of, you know, hey, what's the best way to handle this, or hey, here you go, you know, like I like MK2 type of deal. You know, like kind of opening up that conversation, you kind of see like the side of TOs that you don't really see, because obviously tournaments are different. They have to kind of be at a certain like attitude, especially with so many people that they're TOing.
For sure. They have to act kind of professional in a way. Not like necessarily professional, but like they gotta be new. Like they gotta just be like TOs. They can't just be like saying whatever they want to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wanted to kind of go into, since we're talking about pro comp now, and we kind of went in a little bit about like your competitive, like what you're going to competitively now. How is? Can you a little bit more about like how you're feeling competitively as a player? Like, do you feel a little bit like, do you feel like you're doing great and your growth has been great? Do you feel a little bit like burnt out from it? Like, how are you feeling right now?
So I am definitely feeling burnt out, which is why you don't really see me doing too many tournaments. I will say that exhibitions really exhausted me when they were happening a lot more in full force than what it was before, or what it is now. Because now, if you see an exhibition, it's you know not too much, but I definitely got burnt out with those, and I also kind of got burnt out too with just like constantly competing, and like I mentioned before with Ultimate, it's been kind of a little hard to really kind of catch my groove again, because there's just a lot of things that I wasn't experiencing in the game with Aftermath. I felt like Aftermath was really fine, to be honest. And then Ultimate came out, and like Customs came out, and it's kind of like, you know, it wasn't just like my cup of tea. So it's been really hard to kind of like grind when you kind of have that like, man, I really just fell out of love with some of the things that are happening. But I do know that I'm slowly getting back into tournaments, and right now I'm actually experiencing something that I wasn't really experiencing before, because I was focused so much on getting better with the game. But right now I'm kind of experiencing what I like to consider as like tournament anxieties. Okay. So I was actually talking with like my team, and my team, you know, was mentioning to me that right now I'm kind of like at a point where I need to focus on like my body and my adrenaline, and that's not gonna come so fast as like learning a combo or learning my options in like tournament or learning my options in the lab. It's literally like playing in tournaments and working on my breathing and working on my anxiety and just essentially working on how my mindset in the match is. I'm super hard on myself, so it adds to my anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
But with more time and more practice in some tournaments and kind of just taking it slow with it, I've been able to kind of like really work on that more than anything. So I'm a little bit burnt out, but I'm more focused right now and using this time for the online to better my emotions and my anxiety when it comes to tournament.
That's really good. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe you have a similar experience with this as well, but when you were so like completely focused on competing and just Mortal Kombat, any sort of like loss or setback would feel just so completely horrific, whereas maybe if you aren't trying to focus on just that so much and you have all these other things going on at the same time, yes, you still suffer from that anxiety and being hard on yourself, but it's not like it's your whole world is falling apart when something happens like that in the game.
It also, the other thing too, that like when I would lose, and it still happens a little bit, but like I said, it's something that I'm still working on. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And one of the things that I put a lot of pressure on myself too is, I know that as a woman, I'm already working twice as hard.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. 100%.
And like seeing Twitch chat, even if something's not being said, it's like having still all of those eyes on me type of deal, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That's something that, like, again, with Queen of the Hill that I've been like working on is to kind of help ease that stress off a lot of the competitors. Because I understand and I know how that feels. And so I still get that a lot. Now, like I said, I want to say that it's gotten better because I've honestly taken that stress off of me and I've just focused more on like actually me and my energy on me and really just focused on just trying to get better at the game.
Yeah.
And it's helped quite a lot.
I think like when you're a woman in the community and you're competitive and you're doing that stuff, and like you go onto like a big platform, like a big stream or a big like, you know, whatever, big stream probably most likely at this point because everything's online. You definitely like have that pressure you put on yourself. Like I don't want like this everyone who's watching to like think I'm like the stereotype that like, oh, women can't play games, right? Like you have to like you feel like you have to live up to this expectation that you've probably set maybe a bit higher in your head because of all the shit talk that happens. And that's hard to do. Like it's hard to like try to feel like you have to put the weight of an entire gender on your back instead of just being like you're just being yourself, trying to do as good as you can do, right? I think we've talked about this in the past, just like the pressure, like the self-driven pressure and the pressure that maybe other people put on you, and like how that can like hold you back or like make you like really emotional when this stuff happens.
It also comes down to, as well as like when I lose the people that I go to. When I first started out competing, I went to a couple of people, whether they be like my significant other or like what I would call a friend, and they weren't really helpful. And I wouldn't say I'm not saying that getting like, hey, you could have done better, you know, it's okay, it happens. Like I'm okay with that type of encouragement from you know, like a stranger per se. But when it's coming from like someone that I would call close to me, not only would I not get like a good support, I would get more of like kind of like, well, you lost, what's the problem? And it's not more, and it comes down to like that support system. And that's honestly one of the things that I really appreciate from Herbs. And when I joined Dynamic Focus, they helped with that too. But between Herbs and Dynamic Focus and like a couple of other of my friends, I was actually able to not only say like, here, okay, you're feeling bad about the loss, let's hop into the lab then. Or, hey, let's look at your footage.
Let's look forward.
Hey,
let's go.
Let's do this. Like, being more proactive and actually trying to help me. I've had teachers in the past who kind of are just like, well, you could have just done this and you could have done this. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not
thank you. That's helpful.
Like, thank you for telling me. And like, I like I said, I've had also people who I would have called friends, and they've called me, well, you're just a casual. It happens. Don't take it too hard. And it's like, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
out.
that's not how it goes. Like,
That's something that, like,
If
some others of us have also heard a few times that
For
that
sure.
well, you're a casual, or you hear someone else say at some point about you that, oh well, I think they're just a casual.
Yeah.
And I think that's another one of those situations where maybe that's not something that guys who compete, even if they don't have a ton of success, end up hearing a lot.
no, trust me.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guys that go 0-2 every single tournament do not ever get told that. Promise.
It's honestly when it all honestly comes down to that, like, good support system, and that's one of the things that I'm really grateful for, like Herbs and for Dynamic Focus, is that not only do they have competitors who have felt where I felt, but they actually are, hey, this is what you need to do to get to this. And yeah, and it's actually helped me a lot with my losses. And like I said, when I first started, it was definitely a thing. When I got back into like the groove and like kind of like started growing my, like, getting off the training wheels, you could say. Definitely like that type of attitude and that like devastating loss was becoming less devastating and more like, okay, I did this, now I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Right now, for example, I competed in a WNF tournament, I think about 2 weeks ago or so, and I was fighting Tiza, and
Nice.
old me would have been like, God damn, like, I can't believe I lost to this and whatever. But I actually was able to, really go like game 5 final round with Tiza, and that's just with like me just trying to get better, and I know I am better. So definitely helping with my mindset, and definitely helping with that support system makes all the world a difference.
For sure. I think everyone grows, as cheesy as this sounds, everyone grows at their own pace, everyone learns in their own way. There isn't like a set way to like become better. Like there isn't like a lesson I can teach you, this is how you get better, but like I can, people can show you like, this is how you beat this is how you beat this. And that was kind of the goals that we went into with the Kahnum Academy, is like, let's take as many women who want to do it, and like let's just ask them what they think they need help on, and like just drive it into them. Like, let's see where we can just like make this
that sort of thing is extremely helpful.
their new
And
habit.
I actually was just on Monday, and I feel like a lot of things that you guys said was very helpful. Although I will say that I completely screwed up playing against you and did some of the things that you already told me.
I know, I said that we were playing, you're still doing it.
It's like, there we go. I
We're-
shouldn't have gone for the
No,
grab.
you're
Got
good.
me too yet.
You can go for the
Anyway.
grab, but it just can't be the same thing every time. That was the lesson. It was that it cannot be, your reaction to things can't always be the same, because then people will pick up on it. But you got it, because you changed it up after the second and third time I did it, so you remembered.
Yes.
You picked it back
I
up.
recognized and made a change.
Right. See, this is perfect. This is what I'm playing again? Oh my god, I don't want to play. But no,
We're
like,
going AFK, Emmy. Now you gotta play against Jade.
ew. Like, yeah, like losing sucks, right? Like losing can feel bad. Like, I'll admit, like when I lost in the Queen of the Hill, like I got 4th, I think. I cried for a bit. I was like, I put so much energy into like trying to like, I really felt like I could win it, and then like I didn't. I was like, it sucked. But then I like picked myself up. I was like, let me watch that back. Let me see what I can do better. Let me lab the Jackie matchup, because that gave me trouble when I felt like I really could have beaten Jackie, right? And like, like let me just focus on like doing better, right? And that was also kind of the precipice of like asking what I want to, oh my god, Dream, you're sweating. Just asking like what I really want from this, right? And like what I kind of decided, I think, was that I want to do things like this, and I want to do things like Kahnum Academy, and I want to do things that like, again, mostly inspired by like Lumia and like what you're doing as well. Like, just I want to like make the community better and just a better place for women, because there's been a lot of shit going on, and
Yes.
Honestly, that's so one of the things that I've learned, especially this past year, and starting Queen of the Hill, is just putting a lot of energy into like yourself. Like, I'm not saying that we, like, when I go on Twitter, I'm like considering, like, when I see something that bothers me, I don't speak out on it, because if anything, I'm the type of person that if there's something that bothers me, I don't like to hold it in, and especially if it deals with something that I strongly believe in, I want to speak out on. But there's other times where, like, I look at the battle and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna back away from that battle and I'm gonna put that energy into my, like, events or in my gameplay, and to kind of like tell that person whatever they're saying is like, no, you're wrong, and here's why you're wrong, and I don't have to actually like yell at you and be like, yeah, you're wrong, you know. And that's one of the things that, like, I've calmed down a lot, I would say, like, looking at my, like, history from this year to now, is kind of like calming down and honestly just really focused on my stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Focus on being loud about my stuff. Like, if there's some negative vibe, or if there's like something like, you know, something petty that's happening, I want to make sure my stuff is louder than that, because that's not what's gonna be portrayed. At least what I would want in my community. Like, I don't want that to be portrayed. I want this good thing that I'm doing, because guess what? This good thing just, like, literally opened up a path and an avenue that a lot of the orgs and the players in the FGC didn't have before.
Yeah.
Now there's makeup companies looking at FGC players and esports companies. Now there's actually, fun fact, there's apparel that's actually looking at esports players. Like, I posted a clip I posted a clip of me in Combat League being like, don't you mercy me. It was like against this Raiden, and I like came back super hardcore, and literally an apparel company came and were like, yo, can we send you like a gift? And I was like, sure.
Oh, nice.
That's
awesome.
Like, you can.
Why did I do that?
That announcement is coming pretty soon, actually.
Hell yeah.
More details about that will come out soon, but that's just like one of the examples. What I mean is, like, when you put that energy, instead of just kind of like trying to yell out into the ether, it just comes in. It just, you know, falls into place where you need it to be.
No, that's really awesome. Congratulations on that. And yeah, definitely excited to see more, find out more of that when you have more information on it in the future. But I also just do think that's a really positive mindset to have, and a positive approach. And I think all of us here know exactly what you mean when you say that it's very difficult sometimes to just kind of not engage, not get into a sort of conflict with somebody when people are saying negative things about you or trying to bring you down.
I'm not saying either too that, like, you can just ignore it, because it's really hard to just ignore it. Like, everybody's tough skin is different, and it's not something that you just acquire or like you're born with. I
think also
it literally comes with time.
In the history of the FGC, a bunch of people that have been told to just ignore it just left, because they get sick of it. They can't just ignore it forever. They just stop showing up.
Right. There's certain things that you definitely have to respond to, but I also do think that a really important point that you had raised about just making the I guess public image of you make so much more noise than the spectacle or the criticism, as being a different way of responding. I just think that that's really a great thing, because to me, I was thinking about this a lot lately, and I know a lot of the other ladies in the community are as well, that when somebody goes after you and you respond and it ends up being a big public spectacle, even if you're right, even if you're standing up for yourself, even if the message you are portraying is correct, then ultimately people end up knowing you as that person that is involved in these fights and things online, as opposed to knowing you for your skills, for the work you put in, for everything you're contributing. So to me, hearing what you just said about trying to make myself and everything I'm doing louder than that message and having that be the approach, that really resonated with me, and I just think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's honestly a motto that, and it's also like, it's mentally healthier for me too, because like, I know I'm gonna lose my mind with some of the ridiculousness that we deal with, right?
Yes.
So, you know, why not just focus and put more energy on what I need to, which is my stuff. And you know, obviously everybody's goal is to try to get to partner and stuff like that. I know that I gotta, if I'm gonna be able to get there, I have to make my own noise that's not in the way of like, you know, like yelling into the ether type of deal. Even though I'm sure that can be the easier path, right? But I'm not gonna, that's not me, you know, I'm not gonna sacrifice me and who I am for, you know, for someone's enjoyment. So that's honestly why I like, I also open myself up to not just like, MK stuff, but for the other games that I play and the other first looks that I've done with my stream and all that good stuff. You know what sucks about Melina? The fact that that was a mid and you still got hit by my down two. Buff Melina.
Yeah, buff Melina, everyone. Hello, if you can hear me. Please, buff Melina. She needs some help in this game. I know that Dream agrees too. Dream's not, for those of you guys that have been asking in chat, Dream's not feeling super good tonight. She feels a little sick. So she's still here, she's playing, she's in chat.
You
She
just
doesn't really feel much like talking at the moment because she doesn't feel super great. But we're standing up for Dream's perspective here by saying buff Melina.
I'm sure she's gonna agree. I'm just doing it too. You're gonna just do it. Alright, show's over. Show's over, bye.
Emmy's like, wow, alright, that's it. I'm done. Oh my god.
I'm just kidding, it's not over. But it should be after that.
Salty moment.
I'm not salty, I'm never salty.
If you want to pronounce that was a Hail Mary.
No, you know what? The fun thing was if I had more life, that would have worked. If I had more life, you were dead, okay? Just with it.
I mean, would it? Because I got you with the crushing blow.
Yeah, because I died, right? Because I had no health to take the chip, or to take the armor. Listen, I had the right idea, okay?
You did. No, you did. If I did anything else, I would have been dead. But that's why I screamed, because I said, no, it's not gonna happen. Don't worry.
Yonsei says that was her after Eddie picked Scorpion.
Well, whatever. Okay, listen, I'm gonna say this again. I say this a lot, okay? And it's true, because it's true, okay? And it doesn't necessarily apply in this game because they made her bad, but Melina is just female Scorpion, okay? She is just Scorpion for the girls and the gays, and everyone fucking knows it. So, all you people that hate Scorpion but play Melina, you're Scorpion too, okay? I promise you.
No, you know what? You're right. You're right.
I'm right.
It's a fair point. It's fair, but
it's
too bad. I still get Scorpion, and I still love Melina. Sorry.
Okay, if you played MKX, you would know there's a character more annoying than Scorpion, and it was absolutely Melina. Okay.
No. Scorpion was definitely the most annoying then too. He's just always the most annoying.
Okay.
Right, so
Sounds like a Melina main.
Has joined us, and also in the past few minutes, Vera has joined the call.
Vera's
as well,
here too?
So.
Can I just say, it's been so long since I've played Infinity. Like, this just reminds me of like the old times, and
I know.
I'm just, like, super
this whole thing was just like brought on from Babality and how we missed those days and just kind of everyone hanging out and playing together.
Yes.
And that was kind of like the idea behind starting this. And it's cool that like it's happening and we get at least people. I don't play with a lot of the women in the lobby that often. So it's really cool that we get to like do this again and kind of make more connections between maybe different sides that have formed since the closure of Babality, right? So
Yes.
there's definitely like
since everybody's basically just been off kind of doing their own thing, trying to work on their own growth in whatever area they're interested in, streaming or competing or commentating or whatever it is, that we all kind of got these opportunities to begin with from Babality, and it's great that everyone's growing on their own, but at the same time, you miss having that community too, and this is really, it's fun to be able to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
And show off the talents of some new ladies who weren't around during the Big Baladi days too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like Vera, for one. Like Vera's like she's her path has been amazing. The way she's growing as a player and as like a streamer. From like being new to this game like really recently, like she's doing so good. I'm really proud of her. She's like one of the ones that I'm like I look at like, wow, like you're amazing. And like you're gonna keep doing amazing things and like your growth is going.
No, I wanted that. Oh, I'm dead. I dialed in the confirm, but it's so good. Buff Melina.
Buff Melina.
That's what we'll say, Buff Melina.
Buff Melina. Oh god.
I haven't listen. I haven't said this stream yet, so I have to say it. Like contractually obligated to say Buff Shiva.
No. Okay. Well, you know what? It's okay. I'll allow it.
It's a contractual obligation from the Shokan, and I've signed it. So.
Yes, Infinity says buff my wifey. Buff Melina.
Okay, we're gonna stop talking about Melina now and go on to something better. Yeah, so like let's think. We went over your streaming, we went over your competitive, we went
there
over
was
your
a couple just kind of like fun topics that we wanted to talk about too, and you can whatever you're more interested in jumping on right now, Saki, but we wanted to talk a bit about the Mortal Kombat movie and the rumors going around about a potential Marvel fighting game from NRS. And
Okay.
so,
I'm super excited about both of these.
Right. Hit me with your best shot. This is exactly the time. There's plenty of girls to actually keep this busy. So let's go. Let's do this.
Well, what do you want to start with?
So let's start with the Mortal Kombat movie, since that one's a little more heavy than
Yeah.
the rumors.
What did you think? Let's just start with
okay.
a basic, like, your opinions. Go.
So I honestly thought it was not a bad movie. So this is someone who got into Mortal Kombat like literally 2 years ago with MK11, right?
Was this your
but
first Mortal Kombat game ever? Like, did you ever play one like casually
Yes,
before?
No, this is my first one ever.
Oh my god.
Yes, this is my first fighting game ever, actually.
Wow.
Fun fact. Yeah. So, but I like as someone who's kind of like watched Mortal Kombat from like afar, because I knew what Scorpion and Sub-Zero were, and I knew a little bit of Sindel too, because I had seen her before. But as someone who like looked at the like from an outside perspective, there was a lot of things that like I didn't really know, and so when I watched the movie, knowing about the original too, so I had watched the original before, I was like, you know what, it's not that bad, and I like to compare to the original, like the first Silent Hill movie. Like it's not supposed to be exactly like the game, but it was pretty darn close, and you know, it was a really enjoyable experience. Like I honestly would watch that movie again and again, and it's the same thing I would say about Mortal Kombat.
Here's my take on it. Like, the MK games, and the last 3 of them, have these ginormous story modes that are basically movies anyway. Why would you want them to just copy that and do the same thing over again?
right.
Like, this isn't like the
I
case
know-
of like, I don't know, sorry again, I'm sorry. But it was like,
no, I was just going to say that you've seen a lot of people, one of the complaints they've been making is, well, they don't actually go to the tournament in the movies. And I wanted to see the tournament and that whole thing. It's like, how many times have they presented the first tournament, either in games or in the original movie? I don't blame them for wanting to make it a little bit different. I think the prequel idea is clever.
yeah.
I also agree with it too. I know a lot of people are like, why the heck is Cole Young in this movie? And it's like, I was kind of like talking about it a little bit earlier before we started. Like I see Cole Young as like literally what makes MK movie the MK movie, right? So like,
Right.
you know, every game and every like series has its own like version. Like for example, you had Johnny Cage in the first movie that was like sort of the main character. You had Liu Kang. In the second one, that was more of the focus. I feel like with Cole Young, it was literally just like, this is his focus. This is the new character in the universe. Like, I have no problems with that. I'm okay with that. And then as far as like the tournament, like we already play in the tournament. Like it's the reason why we keep beating each other up, right? But like if you look at MK11 didn't have in the tournament, and MK10 didn't have a tournament, so it's like we can survive without a tournament.
I think
for, like, the first.
we've seen the tournament story perfectly done in MK9. We don't need it again. Like, this isn't like the days of like the old 2D games where there was like an assumed story and like a lot of background details that you don't really get to see. We've seen everything, right? The games have have super detailed story modes at this point. Like, we've seen the stories that they wanted to tell at the games. So why is it so bad they wanted to do something a little different this time, you know?
Yeah. And as far as like, oh, you know, because I've heard people be like, hey, this movie is worse than the original, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not really expecting like Oscar-worthy story or even Oscar-worthy graphics. Like, it's Mortal Kombat. It's gonna be a cheesy movie. It's literally cheesy. I honestly am gonna be like super honest here. It's literally a movie to go out on a date with and just literally make fun of. Like, it's always been like that. MK's always been like that.
Right. If it wasn't cheesy, that would be a bad Mortal Kombat movie. Like, it's supposed to be.
I don't want it to take itself too seriously, right? Like,
yes, it can't. It can't. Like, and I think they did a good job of like walking that fine line where there was some serious type elements here, where it was kind of like a little bit more serious than the 95 movie, but still cheesy enough. And I also do kind of think that, and people are saying, oh, well, the 95 movie was so much better. It was so much more loyal to the material. I think they're looking at it from a backwards perspective where they're forgetting that it actually was not at all. It's just that a lot of the things from the movie have now been incorporated into the games. And
like Kano being Australian. That was not part of the game.
Kano was not Australian, people. Kano wasn't Australian before that movie. And Johnny Cage beat Goro. Scorpion and Sub-Zero were both Shang Tsung's puppets that were manipulated by him.
They didn't even hate each other
then.
I mean,
Sub-Zero got killed by Liu Kang. None of that was even close to being what was supposed to happen. So I think people are looking at it a bit from a nostalgic perspective when they're comparing the two.
I think both movies.
So I will say this. As far as like source material, it didn't really affect me. Now personality-wise, yeah, there could have been a little bit of improvement. Like, for example, Sonya, I did feel like she was she was less badass than a lot of her past past creations. I felt like she was more of like that underdog that nobody kind of expected her to come out on top. She was just more of like, she's there, she's here to give the info, and she's kind of like in and out type of deal. And then the same thing with sort of like I want to say even like maybe Melina too, or Melina and like Natara. I was a little sad that Natara didn't get more screen time because she is a character that not many people see. But you know, it could be definitely improved, but that's what other movies and following after this is for.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Especially with Sonya and like Liu. I know a lot of people were very disappointed that Liu wasn't the central focus here. But you listen to a lot of what the writer and the director have talked about. If they were able to get their continuation into a whole series, which it looks like they'll at least get a sequel now because the movie's doing well.
For sure.
That they would be moving on to the tournament and Liu Kang would become the more central focus in that instance. So
which I'm totally fine with. Like I said, I think it was a really I think it was a nice touch to bring Cole. It was when you first read it, right before all the trailers and stuff came out, you're kind of like,
you're like, oh no, not this guy. Who's this guy? Right? Like, I don't know him.
But after you give the movie that chance, it's not that bad. It's pretty nice, and I do like that they made a connection to, with him and another character. So at the end of the day, it's not a bad one. It wasn't a bad movie. I expected it to be far worse, and honestly, I was happy if it was. So.
Right. And I do feel like it was also an interesting way of highlighting the Scorpion Sub-Zero dynamic, which was totally absent from the 95 movie, altogether, except for one throwaway line from Shang saying they're deadliest of enemies. But it was an interesting way of bringing that in and incorporating it as really central and significant, but not taking over completely the story, if you know what I mean. Because like it's not like say a Scorpion's Revenge or something along those lines. And they still want to make all of the characters kind of have their moments and be highlighted. And if you were just focusing on the Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, you couldn't really do that so much. Whereas this gave them a way of highlighting how significant they are to MK lore while still keeping the ultimate goal being getting to the tournament and that being the focus. And Cole was the force that allowed them to do that.
Yeah. I know, I did hear one remark and I was kind of like, yo, what? And it was just more of like, kind of seeing the characters like sort of out of, because like if you look at Raiden kind of looks, like a normal dude in the game compared to, this one they actually hired an Asian
Right.
and I thought it was actually like a good choice because that's technically like Raiden is from Japan mythology. So is Fujin. Like they're not really supposed to kind of like fall under like the typical white dude or like
Not supposed to be the Highlander. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Though he
like,
did
I was
nail the
kinda
role.
like-
He nailed the role. Okay, he nailed the role. Like
Okay, I mean, we all loved it. We loved it, but it, you know.
Christopher Lambert. That was
yeah,
the
Christopher Lambert.
coming-
He
yeah.
nailed the role,
Yeah.
dude. He was perfect.
Like he nailed it, and it was fine, But like again, a lot of changes, a lot of good stuff came from it, and I personally was okay with it.
So I guess like my opinions, I think were like, I enjoyed it. I had a good enough time. I think there was something like they rushed the ending way too hard. I think there was like, but I think it's set up for a lot of things I'm more excited for if they keep making these movies. I feel like there could be, they're gonna get better, and I feel like that like the setup for
Right.
like the future of it is really exciting. I had a fun time. I enjoyed it. Like the Kung Lao was perfect. Kano was perfect. Like,
Yo, Kung Lao and Liu
Lao
Kang,
was
oh my god.
amazing.
yeah, Kung Lao
To
was.
the point that I hated Kung Lao so much, and now I feel like I can't hate him anymore because I liked him so much in the movie. So it's like this weird
I
kind of
liked him.
feeling like, oh, I like Kung Lao now. No, this is weird.
For the same reason I liked, like, I've always liked Kung Lao. He's like this cocky asshole. Like, and that's like the perfect, like, it's like he's fun and interesting for that reason. Like, he has like an underdog quality to him that he really has like a chip on his shoulder because of it, because he's not the chosen one, and he like has like this insecurity about him a little bit. And I think that's like, I don't know. As somebody who always has like a chip on my shoulder, because I'm always like, I feel like people don't like.
You can relate to that.
I can relate to
feeling.
it a little bit. Yeah, like I feel like I'm like, wait, what about? Like, I'm like really good too. Like, don't give me the credit. Like, I'm right here. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, I get his character motivations, and I've always kind of liked him. I've always kind of related to him in that kind of way. And I think that was
They just
nailed
did a
pretty
good job, like,
pretty
with
well.
him as an example and Cabal, just in terms of visually
Yeah, they look great.
how they're portrayed personality-wise, but also literally incorporating moves from the game, like, and
Yes,
having them be
that was one of the
perfectly carried out.
That was one of the things that I said when I saw the trailer. And one, I knew that like the Cabal in this one was so much similar to the MK11. So that already, like the costumes and everything already had me hyped. But the actual moves, I was like, yo, that's every Combat League's Cabal. Every Combat League.
I will say though, while Kano was perfect, and while throughout the whole movie, I'm disappointed he didn't turn into a ball and fly across the sky. Like, I'm disappointed. I just want to see it once in real life. Okay, like I've never seen someone turn into a ball and fly across the fucking screen, right?
Well, you never know, Emmy. Maybe if they find a way to incorporate him in future films, that'll be
Yeah.
a skill that he
Yeah.
develops or something.
Maybe.
You never know.
But no, I really liked that when it came to like moves and even with like Melina's teleport.
Melina
that
doing
was
her
an
teleport
awesome-
all the time was really good. Yeah.
Yes.
Also didn't
I
turn into a
too.
ball and roll across the ground, but whatever.
But no, I really liked it. And yeah, it was as a Mortal Kombat as it could be.
Yeah, I think like as a Mortal Kombat movie, it was plenty entertaining, and I can't wait to see what they do going forward. Hopefully, they make more. because I think they set up for like a good like multi-movie universe they could do, and I think it'd be really fun.
Yes.
As-
Absolutely.
As like an MK
Yeah, and
fan,
like Beck was saying in the chat, then we'd have Johnny and Kitana in the next one, most likely, and then perhaps Bihan becoming Noob.
hmm
So that would be some
I hope-
interesting developments.
I hope the Katana actress is the same that played Melina, because she was a baddie. Like,
Yes,
Yeah, they should give her the chance.
it'd be perfect if she
think
just did it like looking like a regular person, not with a weird mouth, right?
I
yeah.
would have been more of her teeth, but I was okay with it.
They did. They said it for a
I do
reveal,
feel-
which is cool.
I
but-
will say I do feel like they hyped it too much, because the very few glimpses of it that we got, it was like, okay.
Right.
It was kind of creepy. It was like disjointed and like a snake. I don't like it. I mean, I never liked Melina, but I actually didn't like it in that moment.
Like
Okay.
I mean, it's an interesting way of doing it, right? So that she doesn't have to. I mean, from a practical like effects perspective, so that she doesn't have to wear like a horrific prosthetic mouth for the entire movie and every time filming. But also,
I
so they don't
also-
have to do as much CGI on it. I can totally see why they did it, but
I also saw a
it's not
review.
what a lot of people pictured, I'm sure.
I think it was like video games review, and they were like, why didn't they just put her in a mask the full time and then have her take her mask off to like reveal her teeth?
Yeah, that's,
That would have been
that's
easier and like
awesome.
would have made more sense
Could
her just
been.
growing more teeth. But you know what? It's fine.
Yeah. But I do think that's one of the other things that a lot of people don't necessarily take into account when they're criticizing movie adaptations of things like games, is that there's practicalities that are involved with filming
course,
something,
yeah,
and
for
not
sure.
just in terms of that as one example, but even in terms of structuring of a story and how you utilize characters and what makes sense and what maybe needs to be changed. Because some things that make sense maybe in a video game or seem fine are ridiculous in a movie if you don't do it. And so one of the things we were talking about earlier is the concept of the arcana and how they came up with that to explain the presence of supernatural powers among some of the Earthrealmers. So what was your thoughts on that? How did you guys feel about the arcana?
So for the Arcana, I think it was, I thought honestly it was fine. The only thing I probably would have maybe not wanted it is that it would have been that like when it came to like Jax, Kano, and Cabal, that it kind of gave a hint to the cybernetics like with Cyrax and Sector. And the reason I say that is because in the lore they are like the reason why they're able to do what they do is because they have those cybernetic equipment to do it, right? Like they have those gear pieces to do it. But I'm sure with the next one we'll get it. Like I said, the Arcana wasn't bad. I thought it was a cool way. I'm just sure that like to prevent from having to go into all of that detail,
Yeah.
and probably also
Right.
you also have to realize too that when they were producing this movie, there was two things happening. One, they didn't know how it was going to be reacted because video game movies are kind of hard to promote to a general audience and really hard to like market. And two, they had a pandemic, so they had to sell this movie as much as possible, so that it not only do well in the theaters, but it does well in the streaming service. So a lot of the stuff that we maybe could have seen saying, oh, that was a little bit too fast, or that, that I guess it's okay. They probably didn't even know that they were going to do a second one until after like the numbers started coming in.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe not.
That's a solid point. I mean, I'm sure, and they were all hopeful. Maybe we would get to do a sequel in the future, but you could see even them talking about it afterwards that they were like anxiously waiting to see how the movie was going to do, especially under the circumstances.
Yeah.
Well, and even in terms of filming, of course, they're filming during the pandemic, which limits the amount of actors and staff and crew you can have on set, limits what you can do in terms of visiting locations. So if you look at the movie, it's interesting to see there's actually very few locations. Most things take place in like the same couple central spots. And I think it was pretty impressive that they managed to make it feel like it was more of an expansive sort of world, even though they only had like really two central filming locations.
Yeah, you have to understand the budget was not that big either. This isn't like a
Yeah,
Marvel
that is-
movie. They didn't have the Marvel movie budget.
Yeah, right.
They didn't have a budget to like make an entire like because like in Marvel movies now like a lot of the environments when they go into like Thor's world, what's it called? I'm not like cubic anymore.
Asgard.
Asgard, they go to Asgard, they go to like a lot of like pretty much everything in like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's all digitally created. Their whole universe, they're always in front of a green screen.
Right.
Like you don't really have that costs a lot of money to do all that fit like the digital effects. Like they don't really have the time to like they can't like make a whole outworld in digital effects. Because that's how you do things now. So
It's all like it's honestly all comes down to just a lot. Like
maybe they'll have a better budget next time with their make money on this time, you know? But I think
Yes, they'll the studio will give them a little bit more money to work with, maybe.
I loved all like the video game references, like when they wrote the video game, like Kano talking about how he just wants to throw knives instead of fireballs, which is cute. Or like
Yeah,
the little
and the
fight
sweep.
scene, the sweep, yeah.
Sweep.
He's like, that's the only move you know.
Like
That was
definite
cute.
throwback to
That
the
was-
old
yeah.
MK games.
Mhm. I thought that was really cute. But yeah, it was fun. I want to ask you a question. I kind of thought about while I was watching this gameplay and talking, okay? Because you said that when you said, especially after you said this is your first MK game, I want to follow up on that. When you saw this, were you like, what the fuck? Like, because like there's so much gore and like the grossness to everything. Like, without the context of like the 30 years of MK that you would know from starting with MK1, like, how do you even come into this? Be like, what is going on? Because I don't know. How do you feel about it? What happened? Tell me.
so this is actually my favorite story maybe to like talk about.
Okay.
But so I was in a GameStop and I think I was picking up what was I picking up? I think I was picking up, if it wasn't like a Kingdom Hearts game, it was probably like a game that I wanted and I wanted to stream it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went into the GameStop and I saw that they were actually showcasing Jade. Ironically, it was when they were like, it was literally like a GameStop review of them like actually.
Wait, hold up.
You know, showing what Jade would do. And I remember, and I'm pretty sure if you look at the video, you'll be like, yo, Saki, why the hell do you remember that? But I remember how they used to say, like, you know, she's kind of slow, and she kind of hits this way. And I was just, like, watching, and I was like, wow, she looks really good. Like, I really like her. And so when I got MK, I was actually going to be like, all right, I'm going to just hop on Katana and see how it goes. And I got on Katana, and I didn't realize that it was a little bit difficult because she's high execution.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really play her at the beginner level that I was. And then when I got onto Jade, I was like, yo, this is my boo. Like, this is my character. And so with that being said, I actually, you know, I saw it, and the gore didn't scare me too much because I had already watched a PC streamer stream MKX for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like too scary when it came down to it. I think it was just more of the controls. Because I had played one fighting game on my 3DS, and I was like, I hate fighting games. I can't stand it.
Which one was it?
It was Dead or Alive.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
because
Yeah,
I
they
was
had a
like,
3D
I'm
version.
not
Yeah.
playing this anymore. And I like kind of stopped. And then at the time, I played Injustice because Starfire was there. But like I only played it for one day,
Yeah.
and I got my ass beat so
Yeah.
bad.
Probably.
Instead of like being talked to and like walked through the game. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm not touching fighting games until I touched MK11, and I was like, I really like this game.
So you feel like something is probably like driving you towards fighting games. I feel like that you've had multiple times of like going into it and be like, that's not for me, and then going out
Yeah.
and coming back
It was,
in
like,
again
meant to
and again.
happen.
Like, there's a driving force here that kind of brought you in. I feel like I don't know what it is, but something brought you in.
I definitely want to say that around that time too, I was kind of like really like on my own. Like I really didn't have a lot of friends except for my community, right?
Mhm.
And I remember when I first started, I was looking for something to kind of like find that community, and it honestly just goes back into the fact that I found a really good group of people that were babality, and I really honestly,
It
quite
all goes
honestly,
back to babality, dude. All of it. Everyone's story does. It's like crazy.
if it wasn't for babality, like I probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
been in the FGC for too long.
100%. I wouldn't have come back without seeing you all doing this. I think you were doing it that night. You were doing it was E-League, right? They had a babality E-League, and it was like you were part of it, and like I think Romanova was there, and I think like Kitten was there. I forget who else, but like that's how Cherie was doing one of them too.
Kiki too.
Oh,
was
Kiki,
there.
yeah, that's how I followed all you guys, and how I found out. Like I didn't know, like I've played fighting games for a while. I was doing tournaments a long time ago, and there weren't like a lot of women. There were like, I mean, they were there, but they were very small, a small community. It wasn't like a community like that at all, and I didn't really know that existed at this point. And kind of seeing all that was like what kind of got me back into like, okay, like maybe I can like have a community with this game I love again. So I was just playing online and like enjoying that, but yeah, it's crazy that like that said it was the same thing for me. It's basically what I was saying. Like it's just seeing that was like
Emmy's focused.
I was focused on doing some demon shit. I was like, let me pull off some demon shit real quick. Okay, that's what I want to do. But yeah, like I think
that a lot of us have similar stories, and like for me, I've been playing fighting games, especially Mortal Kombat, but also Street Fighter, since I was a kid, and I've pretty much played like every Mortal Kombat game. But I never was really involved in the community or competing, or honestly, I barely even played online until I saw Losty Girls videos on YouTube. I was looking for things to help me learn Melina and MKX, and I saw some of her videos. I started going to her live streams, and I was just hanging out in her community a lot, and I got to play with her a few times, and she said she is the one that recommended babality to me and said, you should reach out. This is Lumia. You should reach out to her and get involved, I think. And I did. And 100%, if I hadn't done that and met all of you ladies and seen the things that we were doing and had that comfortable environment, I never would have tried commentating Mortal Kombat. I never would have streamed Mortal Kombat. You know, I would have just been watching Losty and that was it, pretty much. So I think really what Lumia and Manu did for all of us is huge, and you can't understate it.
For sure. And honestly, like what you ladies are doing over at Kahnum, like let me tell you, I am really enjoying a lot of the content that all of you ladies are like putting out. I love the Kahnum Academy. I think it is so needed, and I really hope that a lot of the other ladies that are in these other communities are looking, because a lot of the times a lot of people are not really like welcoming to newbies and to new players.
Right.
And the fact that you ladies are actually sitting down with newbies and helping learn is so important. Like you have no idea the good that you are doing right now when you're doing that Kahnum Academy. And then on top of that, just like doing some of the events like that 2v2 that's coming up, and like some of the Koth ones, like it's just really nice to see like that this is like this is what I wanted to see after Bay Valley kind of like closed down, so I'm really happy to see it. Hi Gabby.
Oh my god, I'm just a scorpion maid. What's good?
Alright, I'm gonna need to fix this. I'm gonna need to fix this.
It's a beautiful, kind, and supportive thing, and then Emmy had to go and ruin it by screaming about being a scorpion maid and fatality.
Alright, hold up. I gotta go fix this. Give me a minute.
Yeah, Saki's like, alright, let me take that back. Let me go kill Emmy right now. And like
Oh, listen,
I'm
like,
gonna need to kill. I'm gonna need to kill this. Hold
hold
up.
on. This is,
Yes,
this was,
and
this is,
Beyonce said, "Let me block Emmy real quick." Just
listen, this is,
Oh, hello, VGY is here.
VGY.
Sindel getting fatal.
This
I
is a
joined at
direct-
a great time. Oh,
you're talking about the cause, like the direct, what the good we're doing as part of the Kahnum Academy. This came from Kahnum Academy, okay? My Scorpion wouldn't have existed without Kahnum Academy.
yes,
So.
yes, okay. So there's one downside to Kahnum Academy, and that is another Scorpion player. Hello, down one. Good to see you. Oh god.
Oh,
yeah,
this is about to
right.
get so sweaty. Hold on.
Yes, here we go. They're about to
I'm
sweat.
not even a good Scorpion player, okay? Please don't. I just mash, okay? Don't worry about it.
Oh my god,
Okay,
that's what every good Scorpion player does.
Right, that makes you a perfect Scorpion player.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Oh my goodness. All right, here we go.
Oh, and Dream in the chat is saying that BGY now also plays Lou, and she said, "Are we allowing this?" I'm not sure if there's much we can do about it, Dream, other than complain.
Are
which
you
is
gonna
what
waste
I'm
that
gonna do
already?
about it.
Yeah, I mean, what other chance do I have to get? I always drop my combos, so if I hit it,
My Lou is honest. I believe it. I believe it. I mean, you tend to play pretty honest, regardless of who you're playing with, so I can see it. I can see it. But
my
mashing
God.
is the Scorpion tech down one, 100%. Everyone is a good Scorpion player, just teleport its spear. That's what Chris in the chat said, so. I mean, that's the way. That's the way to play Scorpion. And I mean, we can't deny that Scorpion as a character is pretty sick, and he was pretty awesome in the movie.
All right,
too.
watch this, okay? Watch this. You ready?
Do not do it. I swear to God.
Enemy, what was that? Someone get Molly and check mark Molly. Thank you, thank you.
See what I was saying last
no.
week, Molly, about her down 4 making all of my backdash shit useless?
I'm
I was
sorry.
telling you that last week, Molly. Okay. Remember? So look, watch. I was saying how you can just react to all her stackers with down 4, and it's gonna beat them all.
I do.
Yes, Mel,
not
I've been
do
talking
it.
the whole time. Mel, I've been here the whole time.
Oh, I should have
But
done that.
yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Alright. So the sweating continues. Saki's trying to get rid of this curse of Scorpion situation.
I really am trying to like not have this.
She's like, we don't want to see any more of this. Yonsei will thank you forever. Because so far, Yonsei has had to play Emmy twice and has gotten Scorpion both times. Wait, Yonsei, did you just get kicked or did you leave on purpose?
Oh no, I didn't make her leave, did I?
I don't know, she might have had to go. 'cause
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know, but Yonsei is actually in Europe, so it's very, very late for her right now anyway. And Emmy, Jordan says this Scorpion skin
I
is
saw
not
that, and I
good.
wanted to talk about that because he's wrong. He doesn't know anything about fashion. So,
Oh, okay. Are you gonna take that? VGY, Emmy just said you don't know anything about fashion.
this one is beautiful, dude.
Yonsei
Alright,
says after a
alright.
month of not playing this demon game, I got that treatment. Yep.
I'm
Yonsei,
sorry.
This is what we've been suffering through for the past couple weeks. Jordan says she plays Kano and talks to me about fashion.
Oh, that was a good whip on it. That was a good whip.
Thank you.
I'll give you that one.
Ugly, smelly man, bum-faced
That was
Kano.
nice. That was nice. Okay. Okay. Hold up.
It's not over
That
yet.
was nice. It's not over yet. You're right. Absolutely, it's not over yet.
I'm
But
expecting
Dream-
some kind of.
But Dream, did you?
I knew it. I knew
Kung
it.
Lao in the movie though, he was amazing.
Like-
Even I want to play Kung Lao after that.
I was just gonna say I was expecting some random fatal blow, but I stopped myself because I was like, no, Saki's better than that. But I guess I was wrong. I guess you're not better than that. You are exactly.
All right, applause. Emmy, you know that when you're going up against a Scorpion,
No,
you
we're-
gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. That Jade powerful, that's right, Dream of Peace. Saki's Jade is out there. Doing the Lord's work tonight and fatalitying Scorpions.
You
I
know,
love you, Abby.
no, it's fine. It's fine, okay? I'll never make that mistake again, okay? I'll never make that mistake again, okay?
All right, listen. I had to be not honest with this game. I did justice to Beyonce.
Yes.
Period. I
Listen,
avenged her.
I
As I
understand
should.
has...
All right, so Emmy,
Yes.
do you want to talk about this, about the accusation that you don't really know fashion because you play Kano and he's smelly and disgusting?
Okay, Kano is... First of all, okay, I don't want to get too... Okay, I'm not going to get this too weird. It's not my stream, okay? Kano is daddy, okay? Kano is amazing.
Oh no, not this, Emmy. Not
Listen,
this.
he is the most attractive man in this game, okay? Hands down, 100%.
Oh, I mean,
I don't
if
know.
you're
I mean,
attracted to someone that goes around smelling like sweaty leather and stale tobacco and spits everywhere he goes,
don't
I
forget the
guess.
alcohol. Don't forget the alcohol.
Yes, the alcohol.
I feel like, see, okay, listen, I am just, I don't expect you guys to understand me, okay? I'm just a poor grappler main in a world of zoners, okay? And
Oh yes, that's true. A poor grappler main, you know. So she's gonna be a Cole Young main when he gets added.
if he has command throws, I'll play him.
He's gonna have command throws and he's gonna have armor, and it's gonna be terrible.
Honestly,
cry.
Scorpion, the only character I'm playing right now that doesn't have a command throw, so give him a command throw, I think. It's probably the best solution here. If he had a command throw, I'd like him more, so. But, anyway, let's turn into no fashion. That Scorpion skin is fire, okay? The mask was fire, the green, like, you know, Hanzo Hisashi swords by Razor were fire, okay? Like, that, everything about that was fire. He doesn't know what he's talking about, okay? Just saying. Anyway, now that we've gotten this huge tangent, how do you feel about an NRS Marvel game? That this is a rumor,
Yes.
right? Do you believe the rumor? And if so, what do you want it to happen?
So I do want it to happen. I really kind of hope it's not like an Injustice Marvel game, to be honest. But I'm so down for it. Doctor Strange easily.
Really?
And who else? I would totally main. Oh my gosh, what is her name? Scarlet Witch for sure. If she's in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, those would just be two Zoner characters, and Zoners have been strong in Injustice games, so I don't know, maybe it is your game, you know? I mean, hopefully it's...
I think it's true though, because you like what most people don't realize is that Warner Brothers actually has been doing the Lego Marvel games, so
Right.
so it is plausible that they can literally do it. I have like no questions about it. I feel like it definitely sounds like something that could happen for sure.
I mean, they've been getting licensing rights to every single property for the last, like, 10 years, right? At this point, like, they got Ninja Turtles in a DC
Ninja
game.
Turtles,
Like,
right.
they got Ninja Turtles and Hellboy in the DC game. What kind of weird combo is that? Like, I think they can do it. I think if they wanted to get it done, they could make it happen. I don't know if they want...
The other thing too is so Disney owns the movies. Marvel itself has its own copyrights and stuff. So like that's why you're able to see like actual like the Marvel's Avengers game and like Marvel vs. Capcom. Like there's different like departments
Okay, that makes
for
sense.
that like that company. So it can happen. It totally can happen.
I'm
So
just...
here's the question though.
Yeah.
Do we think if this did happen, that it would just be a straight up Marvel fighting game, or would it be a Marvel versus DC fighting game?
So, that's got to be the end result at some point, right? Whether
You
it's...
would think
That has to happen, because it's going to be the biggest game, like, ever.
of all time.
Yeah. I don't know. They might just do a Marvel one to set up the universe, and then do like a crossover game the next time they get around to like the superhero side. I don't know. I have no idea.
That would be interesting. Although what they did with Injustice was the reverse of that, right? They did DC versus MK Universe before Injustice.
True.
And then that was kind of like their lead-in.
Yeah, but those are different DC universes. Like they have like the different DC worlds. I don't know what the numbers are. There's like a bunch of numbers. Like this is DC Universe 6161 or whatever. Like
Yeah, I don't know.
the Injustice
Well,
one is
Marvel's like a little bit in the same when it comes to like the Earthbounds, but I get what you're saying. Honestly, I would think that a lot of people have asked for. Oh, I love this Calypso. Yes, I see you.
What's that a reference to? I don't know.
Calypso's the goddess of the sea.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Oh my god,
Wow.
that still hit me.
Got some
That still hit me.
some book reader stuff in here. Okay.
Book reader stuff. Hey, I like my book reads. Okay, I like it. Oh, that was nice.
But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think like everybody they've been hinting at like everyone's been hinting. I saw a tweet from like 3 years ago where he hinted at a Marvel vs. DC game. Like
Yeah, right?
like way long ago, like, even before Injustice 2, I think. Like I think he's been trying to get this done for a long time, so it might be a possibility. We'll see. He hinted at. He's been hinting at it a lot recently too. He's made multiple posts about Marvel vs. DC something.
Yeah.
You can
Honestly,
only
I think it
imagine.
would be a good idea because a lot of people have asked for like a DC type of thing. I'm okay with it. Like honestly, I'm okay with a lot of the stuff that like NRS can have planned with. I don't like customs. I'm
that-
sorry. I can't like it.
I mean,
I
you're
tried.
playing a Cetrion right now, so that makes sense. Customs broke Current, who's already top 3, so. But that leads into the next question, because if we're talking about what's coming next from NRS, what do you think's coming next for MK11? Do you think we're done with anything? Like, it's hard to know because they're not saying anything. Like,
So the thing is, I don't think they're done with MK11. I think what is okay, yeah. That's what I want. There we go. Oh, hold up. Because I'm
You gotta
about to
sweat for a second. You gotta sweat.
Yeah, I gotta-
Don't forget to get Cetrion here. Not just a Cetrion, but Infinity Cetrion, which we all know.
So like my game plan there was as soon as the Fatal Blow was out, I didn't have to worry about it because then I could glow and I could just get in. And Cetrion's actually one of my toughest. It's like one of my toughest matchups, believe it or not. So I was really good.
I don't even believe it or not, it's everyone's, I think, at this point. She beats the whole cast.
Lord, Cetrion.
Infinity, I'm gonna ban you for my life.
So the thing is that like I have, again, this is me working with Queen of the Hill and working in these other communities, right? I have seen silence for Street Fighter and for Tekken and for Soul Calibur, right? Seeing silence from NRS for 5 months really doesn't scare me. And
Right.
I really like we got the content not long ago, right? But I do feel like if they could maybe provide like a little bit of a more balance worthy, like I don't want content, I want more balance, because right now I do feel that like with customs they did kind of mess up. I feel like this game was really good and then customs kind of came out of nowhere and I didn't ask for customs. I was like, I'm fine with these.
I did.
But,
I asked for it.
well,
Yeah.
of course.
So this is your fault, Emmy. This is your fault. You did this.
I
This
felt like it would
Cetrion, that's because
open.
of you.
Okay, Cetrion, they should have nerfed her in that patch just in general. And they should have nerfed her when they emergency nerfed Shiva for no reason. They should have nerfed Cetrion too, because she was actually way more of a problem than Shiva, but whatever. So yeah, that's like not my problem that they have bad balancing, okay?
But yeah, no, I definitely do agree with what you were saying, Saki, because, and I think the NRS community doesn't realize this because a lot of people in the NRS community don't play or have anything to do with other fighting games. And because past NRS games, they've typically had patches like every couple of months
Yeah.
at the latest.
So, like-
since they only last for like 2 years, that's what they do. But like Street Fighter, they came at an announcement that there was going to be a season 5, and they said basically what sort of things might be in it, and then it was a year before anything got changed or released for that. Like, that's typically a lot of those games, it's a year to a year and a half between anything happening at all. So
you know what I
half a
think
year
would
is
be-
not that long, but people in the NRS community are like assuming it means that the game is dead, because NRS used to do things every 2 months or so.
Yeah,
but
let me,
if they
like-
want the game to be more than 2 years, then it's probably going to be more than 2 months in between changes.
I think a good solution, and this is something that Dead by Daylight had to like incorporate later on, is incorporate a roadmap. Like give if they had a roadmap that was a little more consistent. No, I wouldn't say consistent, but just a basic roadmap. I think that would quell a lot of like when is this gonna happen? When is this not gonna happen? Like, it doesn't even have to be that they stay consistent, right? But the fact that it's like, yeah, we have a roadmap, we know what we want,
Yeah, like,
we hear you.
even if it's just
Where
like
this-
a base thing, like Q3 2021, we're gonna have a new patch. Like, it doesn't have to be like the exact date for
Somebody has
everything.
some idea that things are coming,
But
and
also-
when they might be coming.
So, like, devil's advocate for a second, like when Combat Pack 3 was announced and they had the 6 characters and they were like, this is gonna come out in the course of 1 year. Everyone's like, we have to wait 1 year for Spawn? Like, I don't want to wait 1 year for Spawn. A game was a roadmap and everyone complained about it.
that's
So
true.
then they started to do these like bigger packs with like 3 characters at a time. And now everyone's like, well, why are you still talking to us all the time? Like, so I feel like they're like, and even to go back to what you were saying before about older MK games, because this is your first MK game, so you don't really like know what we went through in MKX, where the MKX was patched like every month, wild game, like sweeping game breaking patches every month. Characters went from bottom 1 to top 1 and otherwise around like over and over again, like crazy, and everyone complained about that too back then. But now that they let the game rock for a few months, everyone's again complaining about that too.
Yeah.
So I feel
It's
like
they can't do anything right, because
I imagine
the
they feel
community
that.
asks for one
Yeah.
thing and they try to give it to them, and then the community gets upset about that too. So you gotta.
I imagine from their perspective, they feel like they, whatever they do, people are still gonna complain anyway, so they might as well make up their own decisions. But
I think definitely people shouldn't be so quick to say a game is dead, especially when a real game that is dead like wouldn't have the amount of attention, wouldn't have the amount of tournaments it has,
Right.
wouldn't even have the amount of money that is like going in. And thank you. I think quite honestly, what people just really have a lot of issues just that like quietness, and it varies. I think probably the best thing though is just maybe have like a basic roadmap. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what we're working on. This is where we're like, because when you look at Dead by Daylight, they say, hey, here's a content, and here's when we're fixing stuff that is game related, right? I think if they just had something a little bit basic, you also have to remember too, they deal with a big company, so they're pretty quiet on a lot of things because of leaks and whatever.
yeah, for sure.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of factors than just like they don't want to they don't want to do it, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of things, and I'm sure it's like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of personally miss the big game sweeping patches they did every month and a half. But it kept things fresh. Because you couldn't keep a main. I had like 6 mains in MKX because every time I picked a main, they would get destroyed like 3 months later. So like, but like I kind of miss it. Like, I don't know, it's bad. It's not good, but I mean, I used to play top Tanya, and then she became bottom Tanya, and then she became like mid-tier Tanya, and she's like, okay, still. Right, like, but I don't know. Now I feel like in this, their patches have been pretty mild. They don't want to like really take out the top characters that much, which I get. But I think the
I'm
game,
a little bit surprised, to be honest, that Jackie has stayed. Like Jackie and Cetrion have stayed.
they've stayed
literally this-
top 3 the entire game's lifespan at this point. Yeah, like since day 1, they've been top 3, and they've been there the whole time. And I think that's like, I think balancing for the sake of like shuffling the tiers, I think it's like not a bad idea sometimes. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I'm actually for it. I feel like you do need to shake up some tiers. It's what League of Legends does. to be honest. And if you're gonna get into the League of Legends game, that's something that you're gonna like experience a lot. Like, not all characters are gonna stay in that same tier list. And I think what a lot of people kind of need to like, I think it's just a mixture of patience plus on top of like, you know, just kind of like maybe pick up a little bit. I like I said, I'm a little bit surprised that that the like Jackie and like Cetrion haven't changed for 2 years.
They just haven't gotten any changes that are substantial. They've got a couple changes, but nothing that's substantial enough to make them drop in tier list. And plus, customs benefited them more than most characters.
Yes,
also,
they absolutely did. And I think that was one of the things that people were so uncomfortable about with customs, is just the fact that it benefited some characters so much and some characters so little. And the ones that it benefited the most were kind of already good. So
yeah. But I don't know. I think I also play like Apex a lot. In Apex, they have very scheduled things. They have a season. And the season lasts, they tell you how long it's going to last. It's like 2.5 months-ish, maybe a month and a half, maybe like about 2 months-ish. A little bit more than 2 months, like 70 or 80 days. And then they always have they have a patch at the beginning of a season, and then they have a patch halfway through the season too. When the ranked league breaks in half. And then in the patch notes, they literally explained why they made changes. They said, hey, this character had a pick rate was a bit too high. We felt that this, they actually explained their balance changes. And I think that's super sick. Like,
oh yeah, that's kind of what Capcom did with the last big patch too. That's what people were talking about. They had like a 57-page book explaining the pit.
I want more of that. Like, I want to know what they're thinking of. Why they felt like. I want to know, just to be totally clear. I want to know why they felt that when they released Ultimate, that Cetrion didn't need a single nerf. I want to know what they. I want to know why they thought that.
Well, just, and especially because...
Just curious.
I don't know if you guys had heard this. I forget if it was I think it was on a Combat Cast or something. They were saying that Paolo actually has like a big wall in his office with a matchup chart that they made where they have their sense of who they think beats who.
Well, they have a lot of internal data that they never let go.
Share that with us. Let us know what you think the matchups are and why.
I imagine
we can kind of talk about it.
Some internal.
They clearly don't think Cetrion is as good as the rest of us do, but I don't know why. Who supposedly beats her? And give us the tech here.
At this point, if she doesn't get changed, they're just, I don't know. Like, at this point, right? At this point, with custom making her better than she's ever been. If she doesn't get any kind of adjustment, then it's like, what are you guys even doing? I think they were saying that his like chart is based off of like actual like online statistics, like based on like who wins, like because they have all that data. Like they collect all the data from all the matches that happen online.
I don't know if that's a good way of doing it.
I mean, that's part of what you can do for sure, right?
I'm sure they have the data. I just want them to put more attention to it because that data is definitely saying something. I don't think they're saying
No. Listen. That data's gonna say that Shiva's broken because she beats all the scrubs with stops.
Right.
Not true. It's not true. She needs buffs. Okay, for a lot of reasons.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about deciding how to balance your game because online players aren't necessarily representing, to begin with, the top level of gameplay. Well, so they aren't necessarily representing what the matchups would be if both characters were in the right hands. And then, of course, there's the weird, like, online dynamics of how characters become stronger or weaker if they're on or offline. And that's not even taking into account, like, if you're talking about statistics, if fewer people play that character, then how they do in the matchups online is going to more greatly impact the sense of what that matchup is than as opposed to, say, if you're talking about like a Scorpion Jade matchup. Okay, they probably have a good amount of data on that based on people playing it online, but up until recently, very few people even played Cetrion online. So how accurate is that data going to be?
That is the other thing too, is like how accurate is this online data? Also, we're not in a state of like offline. So it's like, you know, seeing these characters offline is not the same as seeing them online, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, oh my god, it's just so much.
I was actually like super in favor like with the idea. I kind of like. I mean, I didn't think this was ever gonna happen, but I thought it'd be really cool if they did it to have a like after like COVID happened to like have like an online patch where they patched it to adjust the game to like fit like this 3 or 4 frame delay you get online. Because when you look at things like Sindel's overhead, or Jade's overhead, or even to some degree Sub-Zero's overhead, like they're reactable offline, but they're not as much online reactable. And that totally changes the meta and like the tier list of those characters when they go offline, because that's just some of their tools can't be used offline. So I thought like a patch to adjust some things.
That comes back to COVID again with their decision-making processes. They're probably always living in the kind of hope that soon there will be offlines again, but not wanting to plan one way or the other. But I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah. But it's also like...
So, do you want to say... I just want to just quickly jump in. Do we want to say, Emmy, that next match will be the last match?
No, I don't want to be the last match. Let's. I'll go AFK. I want to see them. I want to see Infinity and Saki play again. So why don't you go AFK too? Because that's what I want to watch.
Sure. We'll get Infinity in there for the last match.
Yeah. It's like an interesting like balancing philosophy. Do you balance for just the top level? Do you balance for the lower level? Do you balance for like what?
I also too think that they need to be really firm in where they want this game to go, and I feel like a lot of people pressured them to make this game very execution and like very flashy, and which is why customs came into play. But the thing that made MK11 really awesome to me is that it was very like based on how you play like neutral fundamentals and like decision making, and I think that if they kind of go back to that, I would be feeling better about it. But yeah, I kind of wish it was a little bit more of like they were more decisive instead of kind of going back and forth. I understand that they want to try to appeal the casual and the competitive audience, but it's either or, you know, and I feel like right now they're trying to please both, and it's not really working out.
Yeah, they're trying to find a good balance where they can please both, but instead neither is being pleased.
I mean, you're never going to please everyone, and that's kind of part of balancing. You're never going to. Everyone's going to be like, "You're an idiot. Why would you change my character's 6-frame mid to be a 7-frame mid?"
People
like,
always
grrr, like there's always going to be someone, right? So you can't ever have a perfect. It's never going to be perfect balance either. And I think even striving for perfect balance is probably a bad idea. It's another philosophy thing you can talk about in fighting games. Is like, you know, matchups. There being bad matchups, and there being good matchups, and there being low tier characters, and there being high tier characters, kind of make fighting games what they are. They make them really interesting at times, and I think if they had everyone was like this like base level mid tier with the same tools, like that's a boring game to me, you know.
This is true.
I think balancing to like make everybody the same is not the right way. I think you gotta balance. I don't know. I think it's okay to have like what people would call bad balance in fighting games. I just think they can't. Now that we're in the age of patches, you can't just leave it the same for 2 years.
Right. Just leave it as no changes at all. No shaking it up. Even if you want it to come down to like if you're watching tournaments and it's always the same characters that are being played because they haven't changed the top tiers.
It gets boring.
It's always the same characters you see online. You know, people are gonna get bored much quicker than if there's changes.
Like I thought WePlay was a great event, but that WePlay was essentially Sub-Zeros and Cetrions mirrored each other, and like with a good deal of Jackie and like a little bit of like Jade in there, like. That was like.
I know. I'm kind of a little proud of that. That was a really good.
I know. I got excited. That was sick.
Yeah, that was nice. So like I don't know, like it kind of after the first couple of days, I was like, damn, everyone's just kind of playing Cetrion or Joker. Sorry, Cetrion, Joker, or Sub-Zero. Like everybody's playing those two characters.
I don't mercy. Did you not see what happened when someone mercy? Don't mercy.
Especially a Cetrion. But
Do not
I
put
think
that
it's
just on me.
very nice and appropriate.
It's a great
that
ending, yeah.
You're ending the night with Saki with a victory on top as queen with her beautiful, wonderful jade and a friendship to end it off too.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to just actually take this moment to thank you, Emmy, Molly, and Dream for having me.
Yeah.
Please keep it up. Thank you so much for doing
course.
this. And
Well, thank you for being here.
When
and, yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, like, you were one of the first people I wanted to get on. When we had this idea, I was like, I'm gonna make sure we get Saki on like one of the first couple of ones. Like the
I
super.
know I'm so busy and I'm so sorry.
No,
like,
you
I
were
literally
great.
tell people 2 weeks in advance. Give me 2 weeks in
No,
advance.
you were fine. You're
That's
super
fair,
easy to
and
plan
it's
things
good.
with you.
You're doing
Yeah.
a lot of great things right now, so we're happy you were able to join us tonight. But no
Yeah.
rush, obviously.
Any last things you want to plug? Anything you want to? I mean, we have your thing in here, so we have this set up to have your Twitch and your Twitter on the chat, so everyone go follow Saki. She's amazing.
Biggest thing, please tune in to Queen of the Hill this Sunday. It is literally the ladies of Soul Calibur. They are so epic and so badass. And these 4 finalists literally are gonna play their hearts out for $2,000 plus so much more. So yeah, so please tune in.
Yeah,
It's gonna be on my channel. And yeah, and I'll be seeing you guys around the games.
Listen, I'm gonna go to the ending screen. Dream, if you want to find someone to host, it's up to you. It's your channel, so go ahead and. Oh, wait, you're already on top of that. We're hosting Candy. Okay.
Stick around for Candy.
Let's go show some love to our Kunoichi, our fearless leader in Kunoichi.
Yes, our leader.
Beautiful Candy Soul, who I love so much. Yeah. So Saki, thank you again for being on the show. You're amazing. So keep doing your thing. And yeah, I guess we'll see you all later. Bye. Say bye, Dream.